Hey guys, back at Farmer Pat here. Guys, we are at my Barbados cherry tree. But today we're not going to be talking about eating cherries. We're going to talk about saving our cherries. Guys, pests are in full effect. Just about 2 weeks ago, this tree was covered in pink flowers. Like literally every inch of this beautiful Barbados cherry was covered with pink flowers. I noticed a few days ago that all the flowers were gone. So I was very excited, came outside expecting to see every branch loaded with green fruit. But what I found instead, guys, is that several of my branches had mealybug and aphids. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to identify and treat mealybugs and aphids. So before we start talking about how to get rid of these nasty mealybugs, let's talk about what caused them in the first place. So both mealybugs and aphids, whenever you see an infestation on your tree, it's usually caused by ants. So if you look, let me see if I can find some of the ants. If you look here, guys, right here, you can see there's an ant right beside the mealybugs. And the reason is ants and mealybugs and aphids, they have a symbiotic relationship. The ants actually dig up the aphids, or they mine the aphids and the mealybugs from the soil. They bring them up to the tips of the plants where there is like new growth or where there's blossoms. So when the ants mine the aphids and bring them up to the sugary parts, to the new growth and to where all the blossoms are and the flowers, the aphids and the mealybugs eat those flowers, eat that, and they secrete what is called honeydew. And that's what the ants are after. So they secrete the honeydew, the ants eat the honeydew. So that's why they call the relationship between ants and insects like aphids, mealybugs, those damaging insects, they call that a symbiotic relationship. It's like a mutually beneficial relationship. So they can't get up to the tips by themselves. Ants are usually what brings them up. And earlier I saw a bunch of ants. Look at that. Here's another one right here. And you see they're always hanging out right by the mealybugs. That's where they hang out. They like to hang out by the mealybugs and the aphids because that's where they get the sugar. And here is a great insect. That is a ladybug. The ladybugs actually eat the mealybugs and the aphids. So I noticed I see a few ladybugs on here, but I'm going to give them a little bit of help today by treating this plant. Thank goodness I'm catching it pretty early. It's not infested. However, I did lose my flowers. The good thing about these flowers is that they come back very quickly. So I will have more flowers. Anyway, so with aphids, you can treat the aphids with the good old neem oil. With mealybugs, they're a little bit tricky. If you get the mealybug in the infant stage, you can treat them with a neem oil. However, mealybugs, they have kind of like a waxy, let me see if I can zoom in here. Mealybugs have like a waxy exterior, and that's that white stuff you see there. It is like a waxy exterior, so regular neem oil won't go through it. So what I have to do is, the way I treat my mealybugs and my aphids, the first thing I do is I'm gonna power wash this tree off to try and knock off as many as possible. Then I'm gonna treat it with neem oil, but what I'm gonna do is add some soap. I'm gonna add a little, like a teaspoon of, you can use dish detergent. Preferably, you really should use something organic, like an organic soap, organic liquid soap, by adding a teaspoon to a gallon of water and the appropriate measurement for your neem oil, which might be 2 teaspoons, 3 teaspoons, depending on which one you purchase. Then you'll be able to control it. The soap actually breaks down the outer surface of the mealybug and allows the neem oil to penetrate. Guys, I just noticed that this branch is basically laden. This branch looks like it has aphids. This one looks like it. The ants. Oh my gosh, the ants. I don't know if these are biting ants, guys, but look at this branch. Look at that branch. That branch is full of aphids. It looks like it has some It looks like it has some oh, scale. Let me try. Let me try get it. Trying to zoom in on it, but it's kind of getting foggy. Hold on. So look at that branch, guys. It's covered with aphids, covered with aphids. So the white stuff is in the mealybugs, and then those brown things are actually aphids. So this plant has aphids and the mealybugs. And as I said, you see those ants, they're going crazy because the aphids are sucking the life out of the leaves and the young blossoms, and they're feeding them that honeydew, which is what the ants like. So I'm going to go ahead and power wash this tree to get rid of as many mealbugs as possible. And then we're going to spray the entire tree with neem oil mixed with a little soap. What I do after is I'm going to sprinkle a little diatomaceous earth around the base of the cherry tree. So diatomaceous earth actually dehydrates the ants. It gets into the exoskeletal of the ants, and it dehydrates the ants, so it'll eventually kill them. It's not going to kill them in a day, but it eventually dehydrate them and kill them. So we've got to get this under control. Thank God, you know, I'm out here all the time, so that's why it's not worse. But you can see that there are certain parts that are really bad, and as you can see, you know, right now you're not seeing any ants on this side, but that's because they probably finished decimating all these blossoms and they moved on to other areas. So let's get rid of these. So I have the hose on spray, and if there were delicate flowers on there, I would skip this step. But because just about all my blossoms are already gone, and the cherries that are on there, they will be able to withstand the spray. I'm just going through and I'm gonna spray everywhere that I see mealybugs. Safety. There's some mealybugs right here. Spraying. This is spraying off both the ants and the mealybugs actually. The ants won't die, but the mealybugs, once they hit the ground, that's it. So I'm gonna put the phone down so I can spray, and I'll be right back. What most people use to kill mealybugs is rubbing alcohol and water. But I used that once on my hibiscus, my cranberry hibiscus, and it actually dried them up and killed them. So if you're going to use rubbing alcohol and water, which is usually what's recommended, just be very careful. Test it on a small area first. The cherry tree can probably handle rubbing alcohol because it's a woody plant, whereas the cranberry hibiscus is more like a more tender plant. But you know what? I'm gonna try this first. If it doesn't work, I'll step it up to the rubbing alcohol. All right. So everywhere that had the clumps of mealybugs are gone, and the branch over here that had the all of the aphids, that is clean. Let's see. Yeah, there's a little bit here that I can just go back and get, but it's basically clean. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back over it and now spray it with the neem oil mixture. Then I'm gonna sprinkle it with the diatomaceous earth. All right, so just gonna sprinkle the diatomaceous earth under the tree now. Just have a little bit left here. I'm using the food grade. Always make sure it's food grade whenever you're using it in the garden. This can also be used in the chicken feed and in the chicken run area to keep away mites and bugs. And it's 100% organic. So I'm just shaking it on the bottom side. So if the ants get up here, they are gonna get dehydrated. And this is almost finished, but I'm gonna get a little bit more and sprinkle here. I think I have some more in the in my storage shed. So I'm just gonna refill this and sprinkle some more. And then I already have my sprayer locked and loaded with my neem oil, a little bit of soap, and water, a gallon of water. So I'm gonna spray this, and then what I'm gonna do in a few days, guys, I'm gonna do my my liquid seaweed and aspirin mix. That helps to build up the immunity of the plant. And I know the plant does look very healthy, but I just want to build up the immunity after all these different insects were on there. I had leaf-footed nymph, I had tons of ants that were mining the aphids and the mealy bugs. So this plant has, had a little stress with the sucking insects. However, the good thing is, I'm gonna give it the spritz with the neem oil to kill the existing insects. Then I'll kind of build up the immunity with the seaweed, liquid seaweed, and aspirin to build the plant back up. So hopefully within the next few weeks, I'll see a whole new flush of blooms, and new blooms will mean more fruit, especially now that the sucking insects are under control. So let's go ahead and start spraying. And I'm just using a regular ortho sprayer to spray all the leaves. If you're spraying a tender plant, guys, always test in a small area first. I've sprayed neem oil multiple times on my trees, so I use the correct proportion based on what's on the label, so I am good to go here. Always, when you spray neem oil, get the underside of the leaves. Underside, overside, everywhere. I have a second cherry tree in the garden that is also that is actually blooming and has fruit for the first time. So after I'm done here, I'm gonna go over to that cherry tree just to make sure it doesn't have the same issue. And even if it doesn't have the issue, guys, I'm still gonna spray it back. So I'm gonna do the same thing, give it a spritz with some neem oil, and I'm gonna put some diatomaceous earth underneath the tree to protect it. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned something new. I'm going to be continuing this battle against these bugs for the next, probably, for the whole summer. So, but over the next week, I'll be out here showing you what I'm finding and showing you exactly how I treat it, so we can treat our plants together, keep everything organic, and we can fight these bugs so we can get more fruit than the bugs. I'm telling you guys, this was like literally every inch had fruit. I mean, had blossoms. So I was expecting a bumper crop. I'm thankful that there are a few fruit that they missed. So I guess they did miss some of the blossoms, but overall, the majority of the blossoms, I would say 98% of the blossoms are gone based on what I had before. All right, guys, that's it. Till next time. Bye now.